guys, welcome back to my channel. So today we're just having some fun outside. The weather is lovely, and so I'm just getting Hazel ready here with our dressage saddle. It's been a hot minute since I've really ridden and worked her in this saddle, so I'm trying to get back into it a little bit more. We have been really busy doing some cross training, so we did a couple of jumping lessons. We've worked on her canter and all of that, so I was really excited to just have some fun and test out her knowledge. As you guys know, I also have two lovely ladies helping me with my horse, and so she has been ridden 5 times a week now instead of 3. So it really kind of helps to put things together and get some consistency in our objectives. So I'm really happy to just test out what she has as knowledge now and how she's carrying herself. I only get really good reports from both ladies as to how she's doing and how she's behaving with them, and it's really nice to always like hear some great comments and like basically learn that she's doing really great on her own, especially when I'm not there and she's ridden by other people. So that's a really awesome feeling, and I'm super happy and super proud to be able to share my horse with you guys and to share it with those two lovely ladies as well. So just doing a first turn around the arena just to get herself slowly warmed up, as well as just making sure that Hazel's comfortable going every single square inch of the arena. So far so good. She's being really relaxed. It's like not too hot, not too cold, just kind of the perfect day, and the sun is with us, so it just is lovely. We have a little bit of a nice smooth breeze as well. So as you can see, Hazel's pretty relaxed, enjoying herself, and I am doing the same thing as well. So today I'm working on contact and connection, of course, but I'm also just testing your knowledge. So I'm gonna work a little bit on the rein back today as well. I just want to make sure we get a good rein back, that she is with me, she's focused, and it's really nice to just kind of test that out as well. If ever she's leaning forward, that she's just being a little bit of a bully with her mouth, I'm just gonna back her up. So that's gonna be the plan for today. So now that we've worked her a little bit at the walk, it's time to pick up the next speed, which is the trot. So we're just going around the arena once again at the trot. It gives her a good warm-up, and I'm just basically really pleased because she has her head in the game today, and she's really good on self-carriage as well. So now that we have a great trot, I'm going to work on my canter as well, just to see how she's been doing. My objective is to be able to sit her canter. So as you can see here, the transition is really lovely, and I'm actually able to sit her canter for the first time in this saddle, which is really an awesome feeling. It's been a work in progress. Like, as you guys know, it's been quite a journey to get her canter together, and so I'm really happy to like get some great results. So her canter is actually really smooth. She picks it up really quick and nicely, and her downward transition are still a work in progress, but they're getting better every single time. So here we are testing a new device, and it's called a C Coach, and I just actually purchased them and received them. So my coach and I are testing the device today. So what a C Coach is, it is basically a little walkie-talkie system that allows riders or any outdoor activity people to just kind of communicate within a 500-meter radius. And you get a really clear connection, so you can have, like, I don't know, discussions if you want. You can just use it if ever you're going on a trail and you need assistance. People can hear you, and I believe you can add more than 2. We only have 2 devices, but you can add, I think, up to 6 to 10 or something devices. So people can have, like, you know, one of those group lessons, so the coach can communicate with all the participants, and the participants can communicate with the coach individually as well if ever they have a question. So that's pretty cool as well. But right now we're just it's just for 2 people, so my coach and I can communicate, and then eventually during the lessons she can kind of coach from the side there, and I'll be able to hear her or hear whatever she says at any given point. What I've been noticing is that because it's such a big arena outdoors, and it's quite, I guess, windy, it's really hard sometimes to hear what she's saying, and it makes me a little bit nervous when we have like jumping lessons and such, because I want to make sure that I get what she's saying when she's saying it, so I can correct it and we can get over the jump successfully. So that's really going to be a great tool for that. So I'm super excited, and then of course I'm going to have a video about what the device actually looks like and all the components and all of that, and a nice unboxing for you guys. So just stay tuned for that. So just having a nice talk, discussion, to chat with my coach while she's warming up her horse, and then as soon as that will be done, we'll be ready to just go individually and do what we want to work on each one of the horses. So as you know, the beautiful Mr. Connor is working into jumping and getting himself fit enough to be jumped and just do some great work. He's such a good horse. He has a lovely personality, and my coach is really proud of him, and she should, because he's doing really great. Every week he's proven to be you know, a little bit better every single ride. He had a little bit of like an issue with his back leg. He had some leg swelling, like a dermatitis happening there, but the vets passed by and he's all cleared and he's getting a little bit better every single time. So we're working on that mud fever, which is gonna really help when he's cleared to really be able to engage his back end a little bit better and get a little smoother at that. So that's pretty exciting for him. And for Hazel and I, we're working on, of course, being able to ride with other horses, just because, as you guys have seen, in the winter we just usually ride just by ourselves. There's not a lot of horses joining. So for me, it's just to kind of get her really used to having other horses around, being careful, staying in tune with me, and just so like that she doesn't have like any like bucking or any like kind of incidents because she's not paying attention to me. So she's being pretty good. Every week she's getting a little bit better, a little bit more comfortable, and she's definitely learned to trust her riders over anything else that's going on. So while my coach is playing a little bit with that cavaletti, Hazel and I are over there all the way at the back end, and we're just working on her rhythm, and I'm trying to compress her trot, extend it, work a little bit on that here and there. Of course, I'm doing a little bit of rein back, as I told you earlier. I'm really working on getting her to just get supple and more acceptant of my presence, my bit, my aid, and stuff like that. So the rein back is a good exercise for that. So I'm just going around making sure she stays with me, and so far so good. She's being really good girl. Definitely the weather is definitely enjoyable for both of us. So like that, she's not really upset with anything. Like, as you can tell, she's pretty relaxed. So I have noticed that Hazel is definitely getting much stronger in her core, and that translates into a better stability and a good like kind of bouncing action. So I am actually doing a lot of sitting trot this time because she can actually take it, and she's being really good and really receptive to it. And I'm really proud and really happy with that, because it's really great to do, like, you know, posting trot and all this, but we also have in dressage some exercises or also some competitions where the posting trot is not allowed. You have to sit your trot every single time. And so the more that the horse is worked and the better their core muscles are working, the better it is for you as a rider as well. You get such a lovely kind of rhythm and motion, and it just kind of just keeps you right on to the saddle, and so you have a nice kind of circular motion that's just going with the flow, and helps you to stay seated the whole time. So actually that day was the best day for that. I was able to go all around the arena a couple times at the sitting trot. So as you can see, my coach is really going at it with the cavallari and getting some good successful jump and canter transition, which is kind of lovely. She's worked really hard for that canter, and the horse used to be a little bit dramatic over poles. As you can see here, Hazel got a little worried when the horse cantered after the jump, which is not a big deal. So it ended up that my coach dropped the C-coach, or the little device that we were wearing, and we ended up just removing it for the rest of the ride, just because we are already doing really well, so we don't really need to communicate. She's really focused on what she's working on, and so I want to do the same thing for me. So I'm just removing my C-coach here, and then I'll be able to get back on and continue our training. So I'm just getting ready to hop on back again on my horse, just because I decided to just go and pick up the device myself, and then we will continue and we will focus a little bit more on the canter. I try every single time, every single ride, to kind of just work our canter a little bit, but sometimes it's more successful than others. I think that moving forward, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna probably ride inside a little bit, just so that we can get more work done on the canter. Just because sharing the arena, especially when somebody is jumping, is just a lot to take in, and you have to stay away from, you know, their way to the jump. So you really have to kind of steer clear from that. And sometimes it's just kind of, if you want to get something done, it's just a little much to kind of control and stuff and just look out for. So I'm making sure that I can you know, work a little bit on my canter this time, and next time I think I will just ride inside to just be able to have more consistent results and not being disturbed by anyone that's just either jumping or other people that keep on joining in as we are actually working. So as you see here, I'm in the back and there, and as I was telling you, sometimes when somebody is landing a jump and just is cantering, you have to kind of stay away from their trajectory, so it just gets a little confusing sometimes, because I'm not always paying attention to what the other riders are doing. Sometimes she's, you know, on one lead, sometimes she's on the other. So I have to really stay focused on that. And usually when somebody's jumping, I don't really put my horse into the canter as well, because she tends to bolt forward when she hears a lot of horses or hoof thundering in the back of her ear. It kind of just give her a little bit of a flashback from the track, and she gets a little bit pushy and rushy, and it's just not really productive for our work. So right now I'm just in the back there, just doing some nice trots, trying to compress it as much as possible and then extend it. And I also work on my transition from trot to walk and walk to trot. So now with the third horse in the arena, we're just kind of slowing things down a little bit. We're just going to work on something a little bit different so that we can accommodate for everybody's need to work on some stuff and get their work done, each and every one of us. I personally at that point really wanted to just work on a canter a little bit so we can just get some nice work done and just finish off with that. So here my coach is going to show me how I can help collect my horse in the canter and just really get her to engage her hindquarters. So she's just going along here with Connor, and oh, there, that's when some of the horses were being recalled for basically for them to get in for the night. So they started really galloping, and it kind of freaked out Connor there that didn't see it on the other side of these massive trees. So we're just getting everything kind of calmed down at this point, just so the horses can get their brain back in their head, and we are going to wait for the horses to be brought in so we can continue with our training. But basically what she was explaining to me is that when you want your horse to have a lovely balanced canter, you kind of have to shift the weight from their front end to their back end, and the way you do that is basically like a hand to leg motion or action, or leg to hand action. So you're gonna make sure that your horse is engaged with your leg and just keep your leg there, and then slowly you're gonna raise your hands a little bit and just start pulling back a little bit, so it just shifts their weight from their front end to their back end and really forces them to just really engage those muscles and those legs so they can actually carry themselves properly from back to front. That's always how we want a horse to be ridden, is from their back end to their front end, because like that you get the most of the horse, and that's the proper way really a horse should be ridden. So now that the horses are getting turned back inside the barn, we finally have a little bit more time and a little less distraction for the horses, so we can actually try this notion again. So here it is my turn to try the notion. As you can see here, Hazel was a little bit raging forward, but after a couple time I'm able to just really kind of calm down the game a little bit and get a more consistent canter. So as soon as I was able to shift the weight back on her back end, she just kind of bolted forward, and my coach said it's like normal, it's kind of part of the process, just because usually kind of when you really engage those back end, their reaction or their more natural reaction is really to speed forward to kind of disengage that motion. So it's just a good sign if you're able to just get that done, and also be able to just collect your horse after that. Eventually the horse is just going to learn that they just have to use their back end and there's no way out of it. So it was a good first try. I'm going to try again on the same lead here, just so I can get a good result on that end as well. So the first thing I always do when I'm about to canter is making sure that I have a good rhythm at the trot, and also that my horse is engaged. And as soon as I feel a good engagement, I'm going to push her into the canter here. So as you can see here, I'm really lifting my hands, and we had a few nice steps where she was really engaging her back end a lot more, which is really good. Like sometimes there's a weaker side, sometimes there's a stronger side. So far for this kind of exercise, we're kind of just coming on really on point, because I'm able to really sit in that saddle on her back, take the contact with her mouth, and just really ride it without issue. And that's a huge improvement from when we started a couple months ago, of course. So here I'm changing lead, and as you can see here, her canter is already more balanced in that direction, and I'm making her work really hard. So she's doing really good. She's perseverant. So as you can see, her canter towards the end was really more balanced than when we started. So I'm really happy and pleased with that kind of results. So here I am trying it again, and as you can see, now I'm getting it really in a nice kind of balanced fashion, and you can notice as well that her canter is not as fast, which is perfect because we don't need a fast canter, we just need a collected to put together type of canter for dressage. So that's really a huge improvement. I didn't think that we would be able to get it done actually that day, and I was super happy and super pleased on how it turned out. So as you can see here, the rider in the front is having a nice canter, but the horse is not bolting forward. So, you know, the horse is definitely a little bit more along in their dressage journey, so it's a little bit more balanced. But as you can see, the canter is not a big deal for that rider. For Hazel, because she's a lot of fire, a lot of spice, it's a lot to hold on to when we're actually doing these kind of exercise. So it's just retraining the brain to be okay and acceptant of like, hey, I'm gonna use the hind of the horse a little bit more, and it's gonna be fine. And it's just kind of reassuring them and just making sure that they are okay with it. But so far, Hazel's just huge improvement there. So if we can get it to even get a smidge, like even slower of a canter, we'll be able to do a lot of things. Like a lot of things we can learn from the canter. We can learn tempis, we can learn of course some nice canter pirouette. You can learn a lot of different notion in dressage when you have a proper canter. So that's why I'm so excited about it, because the possibilities are going to be endless when we get that done. So thank you guys once again for joining us today in this lovely video. I hope that you liked the footage and that it wasn't too distracting. Sometimes it's a little hard because I can't put the camera all around the place. So I hope that you guys were able to see a little bit of everything and that you've enjoyed our journey so far. Thank you so much for following us, and have yourself a good day. Bye.